was on. Um, Friends of Open Ground Studio are affectionately called frogs. Frogs are an indicator species, and there are many of them, and when there are more frogs in an environment, the environment is a healthier ecosystem. So, my Frankie the Frog here is going to help me demonstrate the need and the excitement about Open Ground Studios. Oh, the garbage can? Should I step on the stage? I think I will. You know, we're the only one that has a stage, so. Open Ground Studios is a community studio that just opened its doors to the public on May 1st. It's on Fremont Boulevard in Seaside, and it is a community studio facility for shared space for visual art, which includes all of these different media except for three-dimensional visual art. It includes printmaking, which also has etching, woodcut, linoleum cut, and monotypes. And we're also going to be the premier provider of book arts in the Monterey Peninsula area. The mission of Open Ground Studios is to provide a sustainable, affordable, accessible workspace for early and mid-career artists, as well as for the community to have a place to come, learn, grow, and experience the arts in new ways. Now, why is that important here in Monterey? Right now in Monterey, we are facing, well, we have for a long time, but in the last couple of years, as you probably noticed, the university systems and the community college systems have undergone a lot of budget cuts. And as of July, sometime in July, we're instituting the very first restriction on classes that lifelong learning students can take at the community college. So students who have been lifelong learners, who have been using studio practice and learning capabilities at community college will no longer have access to those classes. And Open Ground Studios is going to fill that gap. The other thing that's really a huge problem here is the cost of real estate. So I don't know about you, but if I'm looking at these prices and I'm an artist and I need to have a space where I can spread my wings to grow and develop, that is too expensive. You might just as well work in a shoebox. The national industry we're included in is called the fine art industry. The over 10,000 establishments across the country who are included in this industry primarily are interested in providing instruction that grows with the creativity in the human being as well as the social life. So it's not accredited schools. They don't provide academic programs or degrees. So we fit into this category. Now, in the last 5 years, there's been a decrease in the revenue in this industry, but the projections for the next 5 years are good because it's about the economy. When people have disposable income, they tend to spend it in the arts. And interestingly, our target audience does have 75% of our target audience has higher education degrees or have at least gone into that, and those are people who typically do invest in the arts on some level or are interested in it. So where does Open Ground fit into this context? We have all sorts of places across the country that provide community access to studios, including a year ago, the Tannery opened the printmaking studio there, and in the last year they have increased their membership by 30%, and they're at full capacity right now. San Francisco is the closest place we have to book arts, so we're going to have a nice relationship with them to bring more people down into Monterey. And this is just an example of another national company that's been around for 10 years that does what Open Ground Studios is planning on doing. Now, I'm not a newbie at this industry. When I was 27 years old, I opened this studio in Minneapolis and ran it for 10 years, and it was strictly printmaking. And since I moved here, I've also opened 2 studios here in Monterey, Arts Seaside, and in Monterey with Arts Habitat. I have a long history with Arts Habitat, and I've learned a lot about the people here and what the needs are with the arts. So the industry analysis, or the market analysis about profit and loss this is a highly labor-intensive field that we're in. As you can see, 31.7% is all about wages and salary, and the other biggest chunk of cost is supplies, but it all goes into the art-making process. And so we've been talking about it to be profit or not profit, and we decided as a collective that it would be more beneficial to the community if we just stayed with an autonomy so that we can flow with the needs that the community has rather than working through the nonprofit. I also have a lot of experience being on the granting side of the arts business as well as on the grant receiving side, and I think it's an appropriate choice for this business. We have a lot of revenue streams. I'm just going to run by really quickly. The biggest one is the artist. Well, it's not the biggest one, but one of the main ones is artist members, and we've got a bunch of them in the audience. Thanks for coming. They are the heart and soul of the community at Open Ground Studios. They are the shepherds of our mission as well. They pay monthly rent, and they have 24/7 access to the facilities and have storage space. General memberships are like joining a museum for $40 a year. You get discounts to classes and workshops and merchandise. And you also get to have access to the studio space on open studio sessions. We also have masterclass workshops that are being taught by incredibly well respected artists, master artists in the area, all the way from Santa Cruz to here. They've been hand selected by me. There's 8 of them. They're affectionately called FOGs, for Fellows of Open Ground Studio. And this is not only providing a service to our community, but it's providing a service to these artists in particular because it expands their audience and their revenue streams as well. We also have exhibition space and gallery space for rent, and we'll be doing shows once a month. We're going to offer classes and workshops on a regular basis, evening classes and open studios. We also are going to have, this is a very unique thing that we're doing, is we really believe in the arts experiences as a social life, and so once a month we're opening our doors to have interesting events happen. For instance, a book signing or a art film night. Bring your beach chair and sit down and have some cocktails and watch some movies. So we're looking forward to that. And in the next 2 years, we're hoping to create a do-it-yourself framing and photo documentation. One of my biggest goals in this business is to really help local artists raise the bar for what they're capable of doing and what they have access to do. Really create resources that will help them become more professional and more successful in their journey as an artist. And that is really a requirement. We all need to have frames and we all need to have documentation of our work. And then eventually an art gym membership where you get to join with an initiation fee, and for a small monthly fee you can use the studio anytime you want during open business hours. This is just a quick graph of what we're looking at financial projections. Now the green doesn't look really big, but it is in relation to that 5% that we see in the industry across the board. But we do look at that as a nice 2 to 3% increase per year. Our target audience are threefold. The youth 13 to 18 in this area, the kids who really want to become artists don't necessarily get enough arts education in the public school system, as you all probably are aware. And we want to offer workshops that will really help them learn how to become miniature professionals as they look towards getting into better high schools that they want to get into and colleges. We want to also serve the young adults in this area. Once they get out of CSUMB and NPC and the Youth Arts Collective, we want them to have a place to go where they can not only continue to work in their chosen mediums, but they're not just cut free. If they're cut free, they may fall to the wayside and get their normal job and not have that support that we all need, that mentorship to kind of help us move forward. Love this demographic, by the way. And then, of course, our core memberships are often adults and young at heart, or the seniors. And this demographic, all of this target audience makes up 70% of our population here in Monterey. And that population, we're hoping to reach 10% of that, which would be 30,000 people a year. And if we can have 10% of that population participate, we are exceeding our goals. The success factors for us to succeed, one of the biggest things that we've already achieved is really reaching out to the community and getting support. Unusually, for me, I've been brought into this with a fair amount of humility because I wasn't sure I really was ready to do this. But I kept getting grabbed and saying, we need this, and we need leadership to get there. And so with the support of these people and their constant encouragement, we have been able to build a studio from zero, renovate it, paint, and more paint. And not only did they show up with their volition, but they showed up with smiles and with energy that was just boundless and power tools at their side. So now I'm just going to give you a quick glance at what it is we've developed in the course of 6 weeks. I fully believe that this community deserves to have a space that they can go, they can be, they can learn, they can converse, and they can create. And it hasn't happened before now. And the timing is absolutely perfect for this to happen here in Monterey. And I hope, and I have to thank the business plan competition. I have learned so much in the last 2 months. I've gotten very little sleep, but I've learned so much, and I know now that I'm much more capable to produce a really successful business because of that plan that you've got in the labs. So thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for asking that. In January, when we found the space and we really wanted that space, we did a 3-week membership campaign and flooded the social networks and all the people that we knew. And in the course of 3 weeks, we got about $9,000 worth of capital startup funds through the Friends of Open Ground Studios, which were gifts, and through the benefactors of Open Ground Studios and the fellows of Open Ground Studios and general memberships. So we had over 20 general memberships, 12 artist members, and about 8 friends of Open Ground Studio before we even signed the lease.
So the biggest difference I'm seeing between first year and second year is how many artists are actually members there.
Right.
And you've already opened your doors.
Right.
I'm wondering where you stand since you already have people coming
Right.
in, and what and how confident are you that you'll hit full occupancy?
I have to be confident. It's going to happen. When you walk into the space, well, of all the people that have walked into the space so far, this is their response. Oh my God, this is beautiful. I want to work here. And not that many people have come in yet. I mean, we've probably had about 30 people. We've had some soft openings with the printmaking community and with the CSUMB and the PC community. And once people start seeing it and start knowing that it's available, I think it's really, we're going to have to market it. We have to market a lot to get it full occupancy. But my hope is that we'll have at least 15 members by December, and then we'll have full occupancy by the end of the first year.
Is that limited to just printmaking and bookmaking?
Oh no, all visual art. All visual art. And in fact, one of our members is a literary artist, and she's writing a manuscript right now, and so she's going to be sitting in our lounge working on a computer. The beautiful thing about the space is that it's really open, but it also has areas of subdivision, so you can have kind of a quiet space over here to work in some medium. And so no, we actually, the other thing about the space that's open is we can offer drawing workshops, figure drawing classes, bead making, textiles. There's a textile artist here too. Sewing machines are welcome, dogs are welcome.
Is this going to be your full-time job?
I teach as an adjunct at NPC and sometimes at CSUMB, and I typically rotate between 1 and 2 classes a semester, so that does not merit a full-time job on that end. I like that connection. I'd like to maintain that connection at least with one class because it keeps me really relevant, but otherwise it's all this.
And then any other employees?
Right now, no, but I've got some scholarship artist members who are donating a certain amount of time per month in their area of expertise, like social networking and exhibition management. And as we start making a profit, I want those to become staff positions.
The reason I ask is because I see the opportunity, and I can see how the number of artists that get involved can grow, but the profit profile doesn't support a lot of scale in terms of the team running the organization. So what can you say about that?
Well, I actually think the revenue streams, when I was doing the plan, was really interesting to see what revenue streams brought in a good amount of money and what didn't. So for instance, the gallery store probably doesn't bring in much revenue, but the master classes can. If we can continue, it's not just about the artist members that are going to bring us a good revenue. That's actually kind of like the foundation financing. It's all of the programming that's going to bring in the extra revenue. And the more people know about us and the more they participate in that programming, that's where the money's going to come up.
Okay, thank you. By the way, you've demonstrated excellent preparation and knowledge of the space, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you, no problem.
Yeah, I know that you chose a for-profit rather than a nonprofit model, but there is a very, very active nonprofit community around here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two things I want to comment on that. One thing is in the course of the next couple of years, what I'd really like to do is actually have a nonprofit form out of this organization for arts education. I'm a total advocate and administrator for arts education, and so I believe that we'll be able to serve underserved populations with a nonprofit built into our programming. But in addition to that, I have really a lot of connections with the nonprofit world here because of my work with Arts Habitat, and I fully expect that we're going to be able to collaborate and work together in doing a variety of programs together, and maybe even using some of the nonprofit organizations as they want to utilize our space, have it become a fiscal agent situation for whatever programming we might want to do in there. And generate revenues, yeah. Okay?